Country and Americana are perfect genres for working on your melodic soloing. And in this video, I've put together a lead study where I'm going to show you how to use the cool techniques you find in those genres, pedal steel bends, open string licks, hybrid picking and more, but in a really melodic way that serves the song. Here's the track. Okay, let's go through this one lick by lick. I'll break everything down slowly so you can see and hear how it all works. So the first lick is inspired by the pedal steel player Greg Lease. And to get that pedal steel sound, you kind of have to play chords and then play bends within chords. So all the notes blend together. And we start off with this shape. It's a C-sus2 triad. Fret 5 on the G and D strings. And fret 3 on the B string. I'm hybrid picking this, so picking fingers. But you can also just pick down the strings as well. And then we're going to hammer on to fret 5 of the B string. And then just bend up, a semitone. And then bring it back down again. And then we're going to move up to this C major triad. First inversion. We're going to play the G and B strings, but bend the G string up a semitone. And that changes the chord into an F sus2, which sounds really nice over the F chord underneath it. Hold the bend in place, and then we'll pick down the chord and release the bend for that real pedal steel sound. Here's the whole thing. So the key to getting the pedal steel sound is having as many ringing strings as you can at a time. And that's why triads are so good for that. You can play 2 or 3 strings, keep them sounding together, but put a bend within the triad and it gets that steel, that pedal steel, lap steel sound straight away. Let's move on to the next lick. Before we carry on, you can get all my lesson resources at Patreon. That's all my video lessons, covering everything from country and Americana to soul, fingerstyle and more. And you'll get all my tabs and backing tracks, all for less than the price of a few cups of coffee each month. See you over there. So the next lick is intervals of sixths, which is really common in country. We're going to be hybrid picking these because we're playing strings that don't sit next to each other. So we're going to start off with the A and the G strings like this. Then move down to the D and the B strings. Now sixths are really useful because we can follow the chords by playing a really kind of sparse interval. To find them, it's quite straightforward. Here's a C major chord. So the sixth I'm playing there are on the A and the G strings, just within that chord. That gives me the 5th and the 3rd of the chord. Next chord we're playing is a G major triad. The 6th is on the A and the G strings again. Now we move to the A minor chord. The 6th in that chord is on the D and the B strings. Down to another G. This time the 6th is on D and B strings again. And the same thing 2 frets lower for the F. So it's a really cool way of finding sixths within chord shapes and then following what the chord progression is doing. And that phrase just finishes with a C major pentatonic click. And in country you often slide down or up into notes like I'm doing now on the G string. Okay, let's move on. Some cascading licks next. If you're learning more about country and Americana, check out these books I've written. You'll find them on Amazon worldwide, and they teach you everything you need to know about these styles. Cascading licks are crucial in country guitar because, again, they sound like the pedal steel, that lap steel sound. This time we're not playing out of chord shapes, we're going to use open strings against fretted notes to try and keep everything ringing and blending together. So for this lick, I'm playing through a G Mixolydian scale, basically. And so you can hear everything cascading together and they give you that big ringing sound. I think the main thing with licks like this is to learn them really, really slowly because it's quite difficult kind of getting the sequence of the notes in place, a fretted note, then an open string and so on. So let's do it really slowly. We start on the 3rd fret of the G string and then we play the hammer-on sequence on the D string, followed by the open G string. Now I'm going to be hybrid picking these, pick and fingers again, but you can play this with a pick as well. And then try and keep those two notes ringing together, the F on the D string and the open G. Change position, we go to fret 7 of the D string. But notice how we keep the fingers in place to create those chords as we play. And all we're doing there is running up the sequence of the scale pretty much in order. Because we get G here, now an A, open B, and then finally C, D, E. So just the scale notes in order, but the cascading effect makes it sound a little bit more interesting than just doing this. It's such a cool effect and it's worth spending as much time as you can on cascading scales in country guitar. For example, a key like G and C, they're really cool for this kind of technique because you can use all the open strings. So to practice it, if I was playing through G, a G Mixolydian, first play the scale, and then know the notes in the scale, G, A, B, C, D, E, and then F, G. And then slowly convert those fretted notes to open strings where you can, like this, G to A. You could do B, C, D, and then E, F, G. So practice that in all 12 keys, and most keys are going to have at least one open string that you can use that technique in. Here's the next phrase. So the next progression is the E major, A minor, G, D. And on a phrase like that, we want to try and follow the chords, really outline the chords. An easy way to do that is to use triads. So on the E major, I simply play an E major triad, then change the note on the top string. Then I move into this really cool E7 chord. And that's an E7 without a root. It's the major 3rd, G sharp, the 5th, B, and then the flat 7th, D. So no root. But that's a great chord for funk and soul as well because it thins everything out. You get this really sort of light chord, really thin chord that will cut through a mix but give you all the sounds you need for the dominant 7th. And then over the A minor to G, we keep things sparse. We're just going to play thirds. These two notes here. That's an A and a C. And then a G and a B. So that outlines the chord. But on the recording, I actually did volume swells here. You could do this with a volume pedal if you have one, but what we can do is just hammer on to the two strings, the G and the B string, and then use the volume control to bring in the note. Now some players would use the 4th finger to actually bring the volume control up. I'm really useless at that, and it's really hard on a Telecaster anyway because the volume control isn't in a great place. But that's a really good effect, that volume swell. And then the next phrase is just a classic country lick. We're playing over the D major. So we can build licks out of the B minor pentatonic here, or the D major pentatonic. So a classic is this one. And again, that's a pedal steel type idea, a lap steel type thing. We start with the triple stop bend. It's quite a hard lick, that one. I'm keeping my fourth finger on the 10th fret of the B and E strings. Then I'm using my second finger to bend a full tone on the G string, fret 9 to 11. Some people will use the third and the fourth fingers there, but I just prefer the fourth finger on its own. So we bend up and then we bring the notes back down. The main thing there is to watch the pitch of the bend. It's quite hard to get that 9th fret G string up a full tone. So practice that part of the phrase on its own. And then next we're just going to run down the D major B minor pentatonic scale. But bring in those two open strings at the end, the D and the A, two chord tones, the root and the fifth of the D. So they're really cool just for playing over the chord. And again, I use hybrid picking on the triple stop just so I can sound each string at the same time. You don't have to, you can brush down with the pick as well. It's a great lick, very country rock as well. You'll hear it all the way through the Allman Brothers, the Eagles, that kind of style. Okay, let's move on. We're going to be playing over the F chord next. It's very common in country to take one idea and then repeat it over 2 or 3 octaves. And that's what we're doing here. We're basically taking an F major pentatonic lick, but then repeating it over the octaves as we move up the neck. Here it is slowly. Now I'm hybrid picking that one, pick, middle finger, ring finger, but you can play it all with a pick. I just find that those sequences that roll across the strings are sometimes easier at speed with hybrid picking. And as with everything in this style, a lot of it is about chord tones, just making sure you begin and end your phrases on roots, thirds or fifth. In that case, we land on a C at the end, that's the 5th of the F chord. So the note just gels perfectly with the chord underneath. Now the next lick is a real Brad Paisley idea, played over the G chord. Let me play it for you a little bit more slowly so you can really hear it. So Brad Paisley often gets speed by using open strings and fretted notes and moving up the neck rather than playing in position. And that's what we're doing here. We're just taking this phrase at the G string and then putting an open D string against it. You want to do hybrid picking with this. That's the pick and the middle finger. So we start on the G string with the middle finger, do the pull off to the open string, play the D string with the pick, and then the G string with the finger. And then repeat that sequence. You can also use the pick a little bit more in that lick as well. So in that case, I'm alternating the middle finger with the pick on the G string like this. And then that sequence could carry on for the whole of the lick. And when you get used to those kind of patterns, it's a really good way of getting fast country licks with less effort than you think. And then we close with basically the lick we saw right at the start, the bend within this C triad shape. Except this time, we're pre-bending the note on the G string. We're going to push it up a semitone, so instead of sounding an E, it'll sound an F. So we need to bend up to that note. There's the pitch. Now we pick through the chord and then bring that bend down. Now, one of the hardest things with that is actually getting the note perfectly to pitch without playing it first. So you have to kind of get used to how far to push that second finger up before you sound it. So that in itself is a great exercise. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed that one. And don't forget to let me know how you get on with that solo and writing your own melodic solos. See you next time.